But it is easy for him to become enlightened by listening to the scriptures, because the function of the ear is stronger than that of the eye. However, the natures of sentient beings in all parts of the world are not the same. For example, the sutra says that the people in the country of fragrant rice have poor hearing. If you let them see, they will not be enlightened, and if you let them hear, they will not understand. But if you invite them to dinner, they will be enlightened as soon as they eat. This is wonderful, so they regard fragrant rice as a Buddhist service. Why? The root of the tongue is sharp. Therefore, it is not certain which of all sentient beings has the best roots. If the Buddha was to preach the Sutra of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva in the land of fragrant rice, the following paragraph would definitely be: various kinds of subtle fragrant rice were produced, right? That's the situation. It will not make various subtle sounds. This is said specifically for our world, so we must understand this point. What the Buddha says must be in accordance with reason and opportunity. The previous part about releasing the bright cloud is in line with the principle, and this part is about the opportunity, both of which are worth our careful study. Buddha emits light, and we also need to emit light. However, we cannot be as obvious as Buddha, so how should we emit our light? If you have true compassion in your heart, the light of compassion will naturally appear, and when people see you, they will say, "This person is very compassionate." If your heart is very pure, they will say, "This person is very pure." This is radiating light. What the scriptures say is true in your heart will naturally radiate light from your face and body. Not only will you emit light, you will also emit fragrance, adorned with fragrance and light. Ordinary people have a very bad smell on their bodies, but practitioners have a pure and bright mind, and they have a fragrant smell, which is rarely seen. In the past, I heard from fellow practitioners in Hong Kong that the old monk Shuyun took a bath once a year, shaved his head once a year, and wore the same clothes regardless of the weather. The collar was covered with deep grease, but it smelled fragrant and not unpleasant. This is what some fellow practitioners in Hong Kong told me. What kind of fragrance is that? We usually talk about the 5 parts of precepts and the 5 parts of Dharmakaya fragrance: precepts, concentration, wisdom, liberation, and liberation knowledge and insight. If we look at it from this perspective, the meaning becomes more complete, sincere, pure, and compassionate. It can be seen that the expression of the nature of virtue is everywhere. Not only does his body emit light and fragrance, but even the environment in which he lives also emits fragrance. We ordinary people now talk about different magnetic fields. When we enter the environment where he lives, we will feel very comfortable and at ease. That is because there is light in his living environment. Although we cannot see his light waves with our naked eyes, we can feel it. This paragraph talks about the teaching of sound. Please read the scriptures, the so-called Dana Paramitha sound, Sila Paramitha sound, Kshanti Paramitha sound, Viriya Paramitha sound. The sound of Zen Paramitha. The sound of Prajnaparamita. Let's talk about these 6 sentences first. These 6 sentences talk about the 6 degrees. The first, Dana, is Sanskrit, which means alms in Chinese. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas are actually Dharmakaya. What is Dharmakaya? They are certain that the entire universe and the entire Dharma realm are themselves. They are determined not to regard this body as themselves, but that the entire universe and the entire Dharma realm are themselves, so they attain infinite life. The void Dharma realm is indestructible, but our bodies have birth and death. What is it like? The cells in our body have metabolism, birth and death. But this body lives for decades, and the life of cells is very short. Modern medicine tells us that the human body has a 7-year cycle and all cells undergo a metabolism. So the old cells from 7 years ago are gone, and the cells now are new and are always metabolizing. Metabolism, why don't we replace it with a new one, a good one, a brand new one? For example, if a mechanical part of a machine breaks down, you can find another similar part and install it in and it will work. But that part is old, not new. Why don't you choose a brand new part to install, so that your body will be healthy and long-lived forever, and your body will still be like that of a young person when you are 100 years old? Why? Your metabolic cell is new, pure, and unpolluted. But what we replace are always contaminated cells. How to pollute? Your delusions, discriminations, and attachments have polluted you, and what you get in return will be terrible. It's the same with children. A 7-year-old child or a 14-year-old child has gone through 2 cycles, so why is he still so good? Fewer delusions and fewer false thoughts. To put it bluntly, he has few thoughts of harming others or himself, so the cells he replaces are still as new. The older you get, the more thoughts you have about harming others and yourself, and the stronger these thoughts become. The more you change, the worse it gets. That's the way it is. Let's look at the Buddha's world. Whether it is the Western paradise or the Huazhang world, why do people's physical constitutions never change? It seems to stop at that place, but does it actually stop there? No, it still can't stop. That is, there is no delusion, discrimination, or attachment in his metabolism, which means that the replaced parts are brand new and will always be new. This machine can be replaced 10 or 20 times and still be as good as new. That's the principle. Where did we lose today? You are harming yourself, you are selfish. That is not self-interest, it is selfish self-harm. The nouns are used wrong. How can it be self-interest? It's self-harm. Altruism is self-interest. Who knows how to benefit others? Buddhas and Bodhisattvas know how to benefit others, and enlightened people know how to benefit others. Confused and deluded people only know how to benefit themselves, but self-interest is self-harm, not self-interest. There is no question of benefit. Don't talk about anything else. Just look at your physical condition and you will know that you are harming yourself. Why can't metabolic cells be replaced with new, healthy ones? You must know that greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance are the most serious viruses. The cells in your heart that are transformed by greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance are all viruses, and they all carry serious viruses. How can you benefit from them? Even if children have greed, anger, ignorance, and arrogance, they are very weak. The toxins carried by the cells replaced in their metabolism are very mild, while the viruses carried by adults are very serious. If we do not delve deeply into the Buddhist scriptures and do not understand a little bit of the Mahayana principles, how can we know the truth of this matter? Scientists have not discovered or figured it out to this day. Therefore, the 6 paramithas are placed in front at the beginning. All Buddhas and Bodhisattvas preach the Dharma to all sentient beings, teaching them to practice and attain the fruit of enlightenment, all within these 6 guidelines. Among the types of giving, there are giving of material goods, giving of dharma, and giving of fearlessness. The Buddha preached the dharma to all sentient beings, and he possessed all three types of giving. When preaching the dharma, donation of wealth, what wealth? Internal wealth. Internal wealth refers to wisdom and physical strength. This is internal wealth donation. The theories and methods mentioned are dharma giving. When sentient beings obtain this dharma and understand it, they can be free from all sorrow, grief, and suffering, and know the way out of the cycle of reincarnation. This is fearlessness giving. The three kinds of charity performed by the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. He observes the precepts, and observing the precepts means following the Dharma. His life has rules, and his teachings are organized and structured. Nothing is against the Dharma. Following the Dharma means observing the precepts. Forbearance means having patience, including the forbearance of birth and the forbearance of Dharma. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can endure the disobedience of all sentient beings, and do not care or take it to heart. Today we talk about how we can endure these natural disasters. It takes a very long time to study and practice Buddhism. The 53 visits of the boy Sadhana at the end of the Avatamsaka Sutra were also very arduous, and there was nothing he could not endure. In other words, he has great patience, so he has great achievements. The size of your achievement is actually directly proportional to your patience. The greater your patience, the greater your achievement. If you have no patience, your achievement will not progress any further. Therefore, only after forbearance can there be progress. Vilya means diligence. Jin means progress and Jing means purity. Jing refers entirely to delusion, discrimination, and attachment. When delusion, discrimination, and attachment become less and less, this is Jing. The more wisdom and virtue you gain, the more progress you will make. Meditation means having control over your mind and not being shaken by anything. For our fellow Buddhist practitioners today, it is not easy for us to obtain the Buddhist teachings. These supreme and rare dharmas are passed down from generation to generation. We can only understand them when we meet good teachers. If you don't meet a true and good teacher, and this Dharma door is right in front of you, but you don't recognize its value and miss it right before your eyes, don't you think it's a pity? Among all the methods, the Pure Land method is the most special. How many people know this? How many people can understand it thoroughly? Only when you truly understand can you develop faith and save sentient beings in the Dharma-ending age. There are still 9,000 years left in the Dharma-ending age. What method can be used to save these suffering beings? There is only the method of chanting Buddha's name, and the first sutra that this method relies on is the Amitabha Sutra. The Amitabha Sutra has been translated 12 times in China, with 12 different versions. The Buddha preached many times when he was alive, so there are many different original versions. We need to read many versions together so that we can have a clear understanding of the Western Pure Land and strengthen our faith and resolve. This is very important. However, it is not easy to read these original translations together in this era, let alone in ancient times. Therefore, gathering is necessary. The first person to compile the sutras was a lay Buddhist named Wang Longshu, and his compilation is included in the Tripitaka. You should know that for a work to be included in the Tibetan canon, it must be acknowledged and confirmed by the 4 Buddhist groups of disciples to be free of errors. Only then can it be included. Not every work could be included in the collection. It had to be recommended by the eminent monks of the time and sent to the emperor for review. Only with the emperor's approval could it be included, proving that his work was correct. Master Lianxi, the founder of the Pure Land sect, quoted 2/3 of the scriptures from the Infinite Life Sutra in his annotations to the commentary on the Amitabha Sutra from Mr. Longshu's The Great Amitabha Sutra, which is a collection of the Infinite Life Sutra. This shows that Master Lianxi recognized and affirmed it. But it is true that Bodhisattva Longshu passed away while chanting the Buddha's name. If it were wrong and a sin for him to gather people together, how could he pass away while standing? This shows that his merits are immeasurable and boundless. However, Mr. Longshu only looked at 4 versions when he compiled the text. He had never seen the chapter on the Infinite Life Sutra in the Tang Dynasty's Maharatnakara Sutra, so his compilation was not complete. People in the past dynasties noticed this problem. Peng Jiqing in the early Qing dynasty made an abridged edition, but it was not a compilation. During the Xianfeng period, Mr. Wei Yuan compiled a collection of Buddhist scriptures, but the selection was not appropriate, and Master Yin Guang criticized this collection. That is why it was not until the early years of the Republic of China that the lay Buddhist Xia Yinju compiled the most complete collection. Mr. Xia is a reincarnated person, not an ordinary person. Someone told me that from his photo, his body is transparent. They told me that he is not an ordinary person, but a reincarnated person, a Buddha or Bodhisattva, who has come to save sentient beings in the Dharma ending age. In the future, when Buddhism is destroyed, the Pure Land Sutra will still remain in the world for 100 years. At that time, great masters such as Master Huiming, Master Zizhou of the Vinaya school, and Mr. Mei Guangxi were almost certain that this collection would be the one that would be passed down for the next 100 years. This collection is a culmination of the original translations of the Infinite Life Sutra. If you don't believe it, you can take out the 5 original translations and compare them. Don't slander or discriminate anymore, as the sins you commit are immeasurable. If you say that Xiao Yinju is a lay Buddhist, and lay Buddhists do not have the ability to attend the gathering, then you should become a monk and come to attend the gathering. Wang Longshu was a lay Buddhist, and Wei Mozhen was also a lay Buddhist. The work of compiling the sutras was done by lay Buddhists from the Song dynasty to the Republic of China. Master Lianxi was the founder of Buddhist monks, and he affirmed and acknowledged it. It's all just personal prejudice, what a pity. We are now in Singapore, and we have decided to give a detailed lecture again on the collection of the Infinite Life Sutra by Mr. Xia. The amount of lectures we will give will be many times more than in previous years. If we fail to have a thorough understanding of the principles and cause and effect of the Pure Land School, we will have no control over our hearts. After chanting Buddha's name for several years, I met a person who said some sweet words. I heard that it is not necessary to chant so many Buddha's names. There is no need to observe precepts, and there is no need to eat vegetarian food. All you need to do is make a vow to be reborn in the Pure Land. What is this advocating? Promoting the original vow of chanting Buddha's name is fatal. According to the 18th vow of the 48 vows in the Amitabha Sutra, they can be reborn into the Pure Land by just 1 thought or 10 thoughts at the moment of death. You can do any bad things in your daily life, it doesn't matter. When you are dying, just recite the name of Amitabha Buddha 10 times and he will come to lead you to the Pure Land. You are right. Will you be clear-headed when you are dying? If you are unconscious and in a mess at the time of death, even if great monks come to chant for you, you will not be able to be reborn into the Pure Land. People nowadays lack concentration. They listen to lies but not advice. They believe in the false but not the true. As the Shurangama Sutra said well, in our time now, there are countless false teachers as numerous as the sands of the Ganges. Don't just look at the people from outside, they just know that the monks from outside can chant sutras. Don't look down on the locals and be superstitious about the outsiders. You are wrong, absolutely wrong. I hope that fellow practitioners who chant the Buddha's name will turn back and follow the teachings of Venerable Master Yin Guang, uphold family ethics and fulfill one's duties, stay away from evil and maintain sincerity, have deep faith in cause and effect, and chant the Buddha's name sincerely. Only then can we be saved in this lifetime. Therefore, meditation means to be in control of your mind and not listen to rumors. It is definitely correct to keep precepts and recite the Buddha's name. Not eating the flesh of living beings is a sign of compassion. Look at the previous demonstration of the Dharma, the 10 kinds of bright clouds, and the great compassion that follows the great perfection. Buddhism is based on compassion. How can you abandon the root? How can you be reborn if you have forgotten the basics? What does it mean to recite the name of Amitabha Buddha? There are very few people who understand it. It is useless if you just recite it aloud. The ancients said that even if you chant the Buddha's name 100,000 times a day, it will be in vain even if you shout at the bottom of your throat. Can you be reborn? The word original vow is correct, but he did not explain it clearly. Your heart, your wish, and your actions must be exactly the same as Amitabha Buddha's. Then, if you recite once, there will be a response. If you recite 10 times, there will be a response. Your heart and wish are completely contrary to those of the Buddha, and even if you recite the Buddha's name 10,000 times, it will not be in response. Where are Amitabha Buddha's mind, wish, understanding, and practice? In the Amitabha Sutra. When I give lectures, I talk about the 9 grades of rebirth. My explanation is a little different from that of the ancient great masters, but the meaning is the same, and everyone can understand my explanation easily. The Pure Land method does not violate the teachings of the Buddha: faith, understanding, practice, and realization. Other methods require understanding before practice, but the convenience of the Pure Land method is that you can practice first, and understand while practicing. It does not teach you to just practice without understanding. It teaches you to practice and seek understanding at the same time. It is okay if you just walk without understanding. We have seen many old ladies who did not understand the sutras and had never heard of the sutras, but they just kept reciting Amitabha Buddha. When they passed away, they walked while standing or sitting. What kind of person is that? That kind of person is called an honest person. What does honesty mean? No matter what you say to her, she won't listen. She just keeps chanting Amitabha. This kind of person is called an honest person. There are very few honest people, too few. It is rare to find 1 or 2 honest people among 10,000 people. Having delusions, discriminations, and attachments in your mind all day long is called dishonesty. Dishonest people will definitely seek enlightenment. Once you understand the theory and method, you can chant the Buddha's name effectively. It is dishonest to believe in and listen to rumors and heresies. In the end, you will miss out on the precious opportunity for rebirth in this lifetime. How regrettable is that? Decide not to believe in rumors and be in control of your mind. This is Den Permitha. Prajnaparamita is wisdom, which means to understand all things clearly and distinctly. Although you are clear and understand, you will never be attached to appearances or make distinctions. This is true wisdom. This is the general principle that all Buddhas follow in their own practice and in teaching others. What they preach and perform are these. These are also the principles they follow in their persuasion to all sentient beings. Let's look at the following. Sound of compassion. Happy giving sound. Compassion, love, joy and equanimity are called the four immeasurable minds, and are the main subjects practiced by the four meditation heavenly beings in the realm of form. If one practices Zen without compassion, joy, and giving, one cannot be reborn in the four meditation heavens. No matter how good one's Zen skills are, one can only be reborn in the desire realm heaven, not the four meditation heavens. Therefore, compassion, love, joy, and giving must be cultivated. What does shio mean? We don't have it now, so we must learn it. Compassion means sharing happiness and helping others to be happy. Compassion means seeing others suffering and helping them to get rid of their suffering. This is called compassion. Helping others to gain happiness is called kindness. Joy is a happy heart. When you see others being free from suffering and gaining happiness, you feel happy in your heart, which is rejoicing in merits. Most confused and deluded people in the world feel jealous when they see others having good things happen to them. This is wrong. Jealousy can cause great harm and hurt oneself, so joy is to turn the jealousy around. When there is no jealousy, there is only joy. Renunciation means to let go of everything and not be attached to anything. Sound of liberation. Helping all sentient beings to eliminate afflictions and leave the three realms is the sound of liberation. No sound leakage. It is pure sound. Leakage is a synonym for troubles, and no leakage means that troubles are completely eliminated and do not arise. The sound of wisdom. The sound of great wisdom. This is the two kinds of wisdom, provisional and real. The overall goal of Buddhist teaching is wisdom. Among the three studies, precepts lead to concentration, and concentration leads to wisdom. The Buddha tells us in the sutras that prajna can give rise to wisdom, and prajna is the wisdom of reality. Wisdom is the two kinds of wisdom, provisional and real wisdom, which include the meaning of cause and effect, provisional and real. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas use these two kinds of wisdom to help all sentient beings and also develop these two kinds of wisdom. The sound of a lion's roar. The master roared. This is a metaphor for the power and virtue of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in preaching and teaching, like the lion's roar. The lion is used to represent the Bodhisattva, and the great lion is used to represent the Buddha. Bodhisattvas can teach the three vehicles. Buddha can teach all sentient beings, including bodhisattvas of equal enlightenment, so he is called the Great Master. The sound of clouds and thunder. Big cloud and thunder sound. This is a metaphor. Clouds can bring rain, and to bring means to fall. Thunder refers to thunder and lightning, which can shake people's hearts. It is a metaphor for its power and its shock. The Dharma taught by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can shake the delusions, discriminations, and attachments of all sentient beings. The Dharma taught by the Buddha is likened to Dharma rain, which is spread everywhere without discrimination and attachment. As stated in the Lotus Sutra, when it rains, big trees absorb more water and small grasses absorb less water. It is not that the rain is discriminatory, giving you more and less, but that your own natures are different. Therefore, when all sentient beings hear the Buddha's teachings, those with small roots will gain small benefits, while those with great roots will gain great benefits. People with deep roots of goodness have deep enlightenment, while people with shallow roots of goodness have shallow enlightenment. It is not that the Buddha makes distinctions, but that the natures of sentient beings are different, so there are various differences. This is a metaphor using clouds and thunder, which represents the universality of the Buddha's teachings, which are without distinction and without attachment. It also represents the power and virtue of the Buddha's teachings, which can enable all sentient beings to awaken. Look at the following verses, after uttering such ineffable and ineffable sounds. This sentence summarizes the sound theory. Saha world. And other countries. There are countless billions of gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits. They also gathered at the Trayastrimsa Heaven Palace. The sound of the Buddha's teachings is indeed effective, shaking the void and the Dharma realm, not just our Saha world. Saha world is the diocese of Sakyamuni Buddha, which is a vast world. Other lands refers to all Buddha lands outside the Saha world, and all of them were shaken. To whom do these sentient beings with affinity in the 10 directions of the world have affinity? I have a connection with Sakyamuni Buddha and Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva. This is because the purpose of this Dharma assembly is to publicize the inconceivable merits of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva in cultivating causes and attaining results, and in saving all sentient beings. Therefore, especially those who have an affinity with Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva, the gods, dragons, ghosts, and spirits from the infinite and boundless worlds in the 10 directions all come to the Trayastrimsa heaven to attend this gathering. Therefore, this Dharma assembly includes Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Arhats, and Pratyabuddhas. The following scripture tells us that the heavenly dragons, gods, and ghost kings have all arrived. This Dharma assembly is truly incomparably auspicious. Let's read the following scripture, the so-called 4 heavenly kings. Trayastrimsa heaven, Suyama heaven, Tushita heaven, Hua Lutian, the heaven of changes and freedom. This paragraph talks about the desire realm heaven. There are 6 levels of heaven in the desire realm. For the sake of time, we cannot go into details here. The last time Master Shingi lectured on the Sutra of Ksitigarbha Bodhisattva at Mount Jiuhua. He left a lecture note which was simple and clear, and contained a brief introduction. I will only introduce the 4 heavenly kings here and introduce one to you. The 4 heavenly kings, commonly known as the 4 Vajras among the Chinese people, when you go into a temple, you will see them guarding the main entrance. They are the Dharma protectors, actually the 4 heavenly kings, the 4 heavenly kings. They truly represent the Dharma protectors in Buddhism. The Hall of Heavenly Kings enshrines the 4 heavenly kings, as well as Maitreya Bodhisattva, Maitreya Bodhisattva is the Tushita heaven, the successor to Sakyamuni Buddha in Buddhism. Why is Maitreya Buddha enshrined in the Hall of Heavenly Kings? Moreover, the statue of Maitreya Bodhisattva is not the traditional Indian Bodhisattva statue, but the statue of Buddha monk from the Song dynasty of China. During the southern Song dynasty, the monk Buddha appeared in Fenghua, Zhejiang. This fat monk smiled all day long and carried a big cloth bag on his back. Where did Buddha monk come from? No one knew his last name or surname, but because he carried a big cloth bag all day long, the bag became his symbol, so when people saw him they called him Cloth Bag Monk, and that became his name. When he passed away, he told people that he was the incarnation of Maitreya Bodhisattva. After saying that, he left and passed away in meditation. From now on, when we in China make statues of Maitreya Buddha, we will make statues of Buddha monk. He expressed this aspect. To be honest, the sutras often talk about Buddhist disciples who are present in this world, upholding, reciting, and preaching the Dharma to others. Practice means to perform. He was completely performing for others to see, to set a good example for the general public, and to let others see that he can develop an enlightened mind. Having a big belly means being able to be tolerant and show tolerance. People in the world have very small minds and cannot tolerate others. Maitreya Bodhisattva is compassionate and merciful. Maitreya is Sishi, which represents compassion. So he manifests himself in this way to show tolerance. He is able to be tolerant. The cloth bag also means tolerance. Wherever he went, he would put the offerings people gave him into the cloth bag, regardless of their status, beauty, or ugliness, all would be put into the cloth bag equally. Someone asked him, "Buddha monk, what is Buddhism?" He put the cloth bag on the ground. What did it mean? Let go. Others will understand that it means letting go when they see it. What should you do after letting go? He picked up his cloth bag and left. After letting go, pick it up. Letting go means having no worries in your heart. What is there to mention? Serve the general public. No selfishness, total dedication. Being able to put down and pick up expresses this meaning. With a smile on his face, we put him in the most visible place in Buddhism. He is the first thing you see when you enter the temple. We should learn from him to let go and to pick up. We should learn from his great compassion and his smile on his face. He always has a happy heart and is happy to guide everyone. So we put him in the Hall of Heavenly Kings. What does this mean? Dharma protector. Who to protect? What to protect? Protecting compassion means this. Protect your compassion, protect your letting go and picking up, don't forget. Protect yourself and always be happy, face others with a smile. What Buddha monk shows is our innate virtue, and we should start protecting it from this place. You see how profound this meaning is. Only in this way can you be qualified to enter Buddhism. What are the requirements for entering Buddhism? To meet this condition, one must be able to truly let go, have a pure and inactive mind, and be able to truly lift up one's mind, and use the 6 paramithas to teach all sentient beings. This is what it means. The 4 heavenly kings, Dhritarashtra in the east, represents responsibility, Viruddhika in the south, represents the pursuit of progress, seeking progress every day and never falling behind. Virupaksha in the west and Vairocana in the north represent extensive learning. We Chinese people believe that reading thousands of books and traveling thousands of miles can help us acquire real knowledge and true virtue. Only then can we serve society, our country, and all living beings. If you have no wisdom and no virtue, how can you serve? This means. The meaning is very, very perfect. This is the meaning of the four heavenly kings representation. The Buddha tells us in the sutras that the lifespan of the four heavenly kings is 500 years. One day in the four kings' heaven is equivalent to 50 years on earth, which is also equivalent to 360 days in a year. 50 years on earth is one day for them, so their lifespan is very long. Going further up, it increases many times, so the heavenly blessings are great. Good. That's all we'll leave for today.